How's it going, everybody? It is gassed up, and we're back here today with the Mazda CX-5 Turbo, my own personal car. This is Dennis from Gassed Up, and we're going to be talking about my Mazda CX-5 Turbo. This is the 2023 edition. If you guys have not watched the original video, the original review with my friend and partner, Peter, we went over this car, and we went over all the main details of it. But today we're going to be doing a POV from my opinions on this car, especially because I've been driving this car for 2 years, so I feel like I have the most amount of knowledge on this car when it comes to the daily driving of it, how it is to reliability wise, and just in general how this car feels and how nice it is, and is it a possible purchase that you might want to make for a car that you would want to have. So we're in the inside. Let's go ahead and get on the outside first and go over the outside of it. Alrighty, so looking at the outside of the car, we can see that beautiful red paint color that Mazda is known for. It is known that for their beautiful red color. It's a beautiful car up front as well. Nice formed lights. I think the lights will look very nice on this car personally, but that's just my own biased opinion. I've been driving for 2 years, but I think Mazda does really well for the outside exterior looks. Their designs for the exterior. The LED lights are very nice. They have nice halo lights as well as dynamic lights, so they do move left and right depending on where you're turning your steering wheel. You'll be able to see that in the night POV, which will be coming out next week, but they do that as well, so they have those capabilities for their headlights. We also have our sensor up front here as well, and also a destination up front over here with the red label demonstrating that this is the turbo model. The reason I like the CX-5 Turbo so much is because it has that aggressive look. It looks aggressive, it looks menacing. Even for being a compact SUV, it has nice lines, nice bodywork. It comes with 19-inch rims, of course, rocking the Toyo. We have the Toyo tires on, so Japanese tires, because this car is made in Japan. We have 19-inch blacked out rims. They look nice. They're nice black and glossy. They do scratch easily. They do curb easily. They are scratched up on the other side and even have a curb mark. Not of my driving, but they are curbed and scratched up. We do have the nice black gloss cladding on the bottom. If you do get the basic models, they come with a plastic cladding. If you get the Premium Plus model, it comes with a color match cladding, but this one comes with a black gloss, black cladding, but it looks nice. We have the silver outline over here on the bottom of the window, and then we have the black when it comes for the pillars, and of course the plastic up top for the insulation. It does come with power folding mirrors, automatic as well. As you can see, I got out of the car, key fob is in my pocket, and it locked. So that's also a way for you to know if the car is locked or not. Has, of course, sensors on the mirrors, has the turn signals on the mirrors, the basic things. We could go ahead and look at the back. We can see that the back is also a nice view to have. Of course, you're not going to be looking in the back when you're driving, but if someone's driving behind you looking at your car, there's going to be a lot to see, right? It's a nice looking back. Again, the tail lights look nice and sporty and beautiful, which is I love about this car for being a compact SUV. We have the Skyactiv G logo as well as the turbo logo. We have two tailpipes, sporty tailpipes. Of course, this does not make that much noise. It's not a sport machine. It doesn't have a roaring engine, no V6, V8, anything of that sort. But still, for being a four-cylinder, turbocharged four-cylinder, it does give a lot of power. We're going to talk about once we get to the engine. But the tailpipes do look nice. They're nice and menacing, and in the wintertime, there is smoke coming out of them, so it looks nice and menacing, like mentioned before. But overall, great profile for a car like this. Looks great in any single lighting, in daytime and nighttime. It looks great, and just overall, the red color is what really puts this car together. Of course, they offer a lot of beautiful colors as well, but in general, it's a great looking car. So let's go ahead and get into the rear. We're gonna get into the rear real quick and show you the rear space. So right now the seat is set for my size. I'm 6'2", 6'3", so therefore I am a little bit taller. And this because this is a compact car, there's not much space in the back for myself, or if someone is seated in my height. So let me get in without knocking the camera. But if we get back here, we could see that there's not a lot of space. We can even turn on a light real quick, but it won't do much. There's not a lot of space back here for myself. Of course, I am seated in a comfortable position. I could move up my seat a little bit more further, just to be, I'll be a little bit more compact up front. But if it's for the passenger's sake, of course, I can move up a little bit. But being 6'2", 6'3", it is quite compact. Of course, I can move back a little bit and I'll have a little bit more space, but I am touching the back of the seat. Of course, it is a nice soft back of the seat, so it's not that bad. It's not a plastic seat. I'm not, rubbing my feet against plastic. It's a nice leather back seat, so it's okay. There's a pocket in there as well. There's also a pocket back here, and personally, if I do have someone tall riding in the back, I usually put them in the on the side of the passenger or the front passenger. That is because they are able to have more space since the front passenger doesn't have a steering wheel in their way and is not pressing any gas pedals. They can move up a little bit more forward and give the rear passenger more space. But most of the time, I only have 2 or 3 people in here, and the third person is usually a smaller size, so it is not that much of trouble. Of course, we also have vents here as well. As you can see, we have air vents and just a simple on and off function. So we have that as well. So there's no there's only controls for the front ventilation, so there's a dynamic 2-way control for the front ventilation. No rear ventilation controls besides on and off. We also have our heated seats here as well. As you can, these are our heated seat buttons, cup holders, and I guess in a way it's kind of inconvenient if you have a 5th person in the car having to press these buttons. You would have to have the 5th person lean forward first before turning on the buttons or turning off the heated seats. But it's okay. It's something you could deal with. I've only had that one time when I had a full car and where I needed to deal with that. But usually, most of the time, I have 4 people in the car max, so it's kind of a good thing to have. Everybody can have their hand rest, everybody can have their drink, and everybody can have their heated seats if it's a cold winter. Looking at the back, we also have USB chargers here as well. I have my USB cable just in case anybody needs it back here. We have our 2 USB 2.3 amp chargers, right? USB-C chargers, no USB-C, or USB-A, no USB-C charging back here. But it's a nice system. It works well. Not a lot of people have used it, of course, because I don't have that many people. It's sitting in the back most of the time. We've done a couple road trips in this car. But in general, the reviews I've gotten from sitting in the back here, it's a nice interior, nice rear space. A lot of people fall asleep back here because these seats are very comfy. And also, these seats do recline backwards. So if I'm able to show you right now, these seats do recline backwards right there. If you can see, there's a hinge right there that you go ahead and select, and it allows you to recline backwards and forwards. So if you want to enjoy and lay down a little bit, you could do that as well. All right, let's go ahead and hop out of here. Try not to hit my camera. We can also look at the rear space as well. If we take a look at the rear, so taking a look at the rear space, we can see that there's a good amount of space. I have my dog. You see here is a doggy friendly channel. So I do use this on a regular when I'm transporting my dog anywhere. He's a small little dog, doesn't need that much space, so it works for him. This is able to connect to the seat hooks for the baby seat hooks as well if you have a child. The back room is pretty good. As you can see, we have compartments on the left and right for any things you need to have just in case you have to grab something on the go. We also have a full-sized rear spare in the back, as well as the Bose subwoofer and a little bit more space for any other tools you might need on the daily or with any emergency. We also have levers over here on the left and the right side. This is for the right seat to put down. This one's for the left seat, the big one. And then we also have a middle seat. So we have a 40-20-40 split. So 40-20-40, this one goes down. So if you have any skis or snowboards you have to put in, you could put them down as well. Now, we could go ahead and take a look over here. No locking function, just a rear down function. We also have the camera, as you can see while it's going down. There is a camera there as well on the rear, and that's pretty much the only camera you get for the 2023 edition. And we'll go over that once I get into the car for the reason why. But the new additions of the new years for this car do have full 360 cameras. Let's go ahead and take a look at the engine lastly from the exterior and go over the power metrics. So, looking at the engine bay, nothing much to see here. Everything is quite covered, but you could work on the air intake. I guess if you own this car and you want to put an air intake in it, you can. It's quite easy to access. It's right there. You could go ahead and do whatever you want. Oil changes are easy too. Dipsticks right there. Everything's nice and functional and works well. Of course, as you can see, I'm holding it with my hand, but I have this, of course, to help me if I need to. But this engine's pretty good. Like I said, turbocharged. It does 256 horsepower on 91 or 93 octane, so higher octane fuel does do more horsepower and torque at around 256 and 320 torque. Of course, if you run, there you go. If you run lower lower gas or around the 85 and 87 mark, you will have less torque and less power. You would have around, I think it's like 220 horsepower, 210 horsepower, and a little under 300 foot-pound of torque. Now that we're inside, let's go ahead and start the car because it is a little bit warm in here, even on this cold winter day. So let's go ahead and start the AC real quick, put it to a low setting. Also, let me take a look at my camera to make sure we're filming everything correctly. But while I'm looking at the camera, we could also take a look at the interior of the car. So the interior of this car is very nice. It's very compact, but also spacious. Everything is where you need it to be. Okay, let me check real quick. Okay, camera's fine. Sorry, I just had to make sure that was good. But everything's compact and everything is nice in here. It's very luxurious. We said this in the main review. For the price that you're paying for this car, there's a lot of luxury this car offers, and that is everything is leather, right? We have nice touch points. This is leather up here. It's a little bit hard of a leather, but it's leather. We have leather down here, leather over here. It's a little bit more, once again, harder texture, but it's there, right? This is all leather lined, leather seats, leather hand put to your arms, right? We even have this in the middle. This is leather as well. We do have gloss black, and as you can see, it's very dusty and very dirty and very scratched up. So that's one thing I do not enjoy, is the gloss black over here. And also there's a little bit like gloss black over here around the vents, or not glossy but more metallic-y, which you can see a lot of dust on. And also a lot of scratches if you do end up scratching that part. But in general, on the exterior or in the interior, it's a nice interior to be in. We have a heads-up display. First of all, we have a heads-up display, so that's very nice to have when you're driving and you don't want to look down at the speedometer. You have a heads-up display. For the speedometer, we do have a screen over here in the middle. It's a quite nice and small screen. It's not the whole speedometer is not a screen, which some new cars have, but you do have a screen right there in the middle. Shows everything you need to see. Miles per gallon, how much gas you have in your tank, and as well as how many miles you have done for your trip A. We also could see our speedometer, our basic speedometer, and as well right now I have the screen open to where you can see if there's a car to your front, left, and right. We also have other options such as when your service is due, what direction you're traveling, as well as your mileage you have left. We have the basic speedometer screen that has no information on it besides your speed. We have trip A, trip B, and of course we're back to seeing what's around us. What else can we talk about while we're sitting here? Well, when it comes to the side controls with the mirror controls, they're very nice. They're in this little joystick, which I do enjoy a lot. They've been getting rid of it in the new cars, but I do enjoy this joystick function when it comes to the mirrors. We have, of course, our lock and unlock and all our mirror window controls. We have our 4 vents up here in the front, and we also have other vents right here for actually defogging the side windows. Actually, smart idea on Mazda for those. Very, very useful in the winter months, especially up here in the Northeast. When it comes to the steering wheel, great thing to hold on to when you're driving for long road trips and in general when you're trying to get in that sporty activities. Of course, we have all the buttons you need here. We have our control for lane centering as well as distance control, right? We can set our speed here as well. We have the on and cancel switch. We have our info controls. We have our mute buttons and audio buttons. We have our Siri and call control. So the basics you would imagine you would have in a car. We also do have paddle shifters. We have a plus and minus, of course, up and down for paddle shifters. We also have shifting controls in the actual, in the actual shifter. And of course, we have our basic controls with the lights and the windshield wipers, right? So we have auto windshield wipers, we have auto lights. Everything you need to have is there. Not much to talk about there, like any basic modern car. When it comes to our abilities or the aspects that we have in a car for daily ability, of course, we have cool seats, we have heated seats, and we have heated steering wheel. Great thing to have for a car in this price point. A lot of cars in this price point don't offer this many amenities. They don't offer cooled seats. They don't offer, if they do offer, some of them do offer heated seats and heated steering wheels, but a lot of them don't offer cooled seats, which I don't understand. For this price point, might as well add it in, right? How much more does it actually cost them? But there is the whole three. There is the heated seats, heated steering wheel, cooled seats, as well as the heated seats in the back, and of course heated seats and cooled seats for the passenger on my right, the passenger princess, which is Peter most of the time. Of course, we also forgot to mention there is the button right here. If your doors are unlocked, you can open up your rear tailgate, or not real tailgate, I'm thinking about a truck, but you can open up your rear for anybody who needs to throw some stuff in there, and we could turn off lane centering assistance as well. We have not auto dimming light mirror. We have you have to click a button actually to select if you want to dim it or not. But we do have a dimming mirror, not auto dimming, but it's fine. It works. Once again, like I said, we have a two system. I always forget what it's called. It's a 2-passenger system for the temperature controls. We could see that we could click the sync button, turn that off, and then the passenger to our right could change their temperature controls if need be. Once again, the rear does not get that. We also have our sport and off-road control. So if we go up on the MI drive button over here, we can see that it goes into sport mode. Down goes back into normal mode, and down goes into off-road mode. We'll go over that when we're driving, what they actually do. But more of the interior. This is the 2023 model, so you do not get a touchscreen controls. In the new 2024 and 2025 model, you do get touchscreen controls, as well as getting 360 cameras and sensors in the new 2024 and 2025 turbo models. So no longer you need to go to the Premium Plus to get all those availabilities. You could just get a turbo model and have all those availabilities in their car. So that's one thing I'm jealous of being in this 2023 model and not the new 2024 or 2025 model, is that they get all those 360 cameras and sensors. We do have a Bose sound speaker system here too. It's very nice. It's very good quality. It works very, very well. I love listening to music on this system. Sometimes I even sit in the car and listen to songs for the first time using this Bose sound system because it just sounds so good. Of course, we have our basics. We have our light controls up here, left or right, whatever you need. We have our mirrors right here. You can take a look at ourselves. How are you doing there? We have our little spot for our sunglasses. Oh, I forgot to mention you this, because we don't have touch controls, we have these little knob controls, which I personally like a lot. A lot of people hate on this, but I do enjoy this touch controls because I do not have to lean over and touch the screen, as well as mess up the screen and have to clean it. All my controls are down here. I could go ahead and toggle whatever I need to. Say I need to go to the home screen, go to my maps real quick when I'm in Apple CarPlay. I click the home screen. If I want to go straight to the maps, I click the maps button. Go to music, I click this music button, it takes me to Spotify. Favorites takes me to whatever I favorited. And of course I have this little knob to scroll around and choose what I need to choose, and press down on it when I make a selection. Of course we have auto hold, which I usually keep off unless I'm stuck in heavy traffic, but most of the time that is off. We have our parking brake, and we have more audio controls if you don't want to use your audio controls. Here, they actually place it in a quite good spot, because the person sitting on your right, your passenger, or most of the time your DJ, if you are driving on a road trip, they're able to control audio just using this little knob as well, and as well as mute it too. So very, very nice to have that there. We have our cup holders here. The cup holder spot I personally enjoy because I could just grab the cup with my arm rested here. I could grab the cup, take a sip, put it back in. So very nice spot for cup holders. I know it might be in the way if you have a taller cup or a taller bottle, it might be in the way, but it's okay. It's a good spot to have. Over here we can see we have more storage down here. We have more USB chargers here as well. No USB-Cs, but they're good anyways. I use them because once again we don't have the new system from 2024 and 2025 models. So there's no wireless Apple CarPlay, but there is wired CarPlay. It works well, charges your phone. That's all you really need. If you want the wireless Apple CarPlay, it will come in the newer models of 2024, 2025. And to match that, we also do have a charging pad over here, which I personally don't use. But say I don't have an extra charger for someone to use, they could go ahead, I could put my phone in the cup holder, and they could throw their phone on the wireless charger, and it will charge their phone for them. So, once again, nice interior to be in. We have nice leather seats. They're also perforated, of course, for that heated and cooled function. We have nice carbon linings. Of course, I forgot to mention we have a little bit of carbon. Of course, it's probably fake carbon. It's probably not real, but we do have carbon lining as well on the sides panels. We also have a sun or moon, or whatever you want to call it, sun moon visor up top, window, whatever, and it does move up and down. We have all the functions you need to have, so you could go ahead in the summer months, take a look at that at night, maybe look at some stars, whatever you want to do, whatever cute dates you are on, you could do with that. But besides that, it's a very nice interior to be in. Like I said, it's compact, but there's still a lot of room, and and the passengers have a lot of room as well. There's a lot of things this car offers. And of course, also forgot to mention, not only do we have folding mirrors, but we also have heated mirrors. So that is also a great thing to have if you live in the colder areas like the Northeast, as we do. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the driving aspect of this video. We've been talking for too long. Let's go ahead and on a little drive, head over onto the highway, have a little fun, right? And see what we can do with this car. So let's go ahead and get started. That is the rear view camera. It's not the greatest of quality, but you could see what you need to see. The yellow bars don't move around, so it doesn't really show you where you're going, but you could estimate, you learn over the years of owning this car of where you need to be, where you need to line up your car, so it works fine. Let's go ahead and get started. Pull out of here and see if we could get on the highway. I'm hoping the highway has no traffic currently. Like I said, we live in more of a city area, so there is traffic some of the times in this area. So first off, let's talk about how this power and torque works with this car, okay? This is your daily car. A lot of people you see driving this car are mostly mothers and fathers who have a small family, and it's a great car for that. It's compact. You don't need a lot of space if you don't have tall children and if they're a young age, so it's a great car to have for those early years of having a family. Of course, I'm far from that, but I would imagine it's a great car to have for that, right? When it comes to that, it's safe, right? If you have kids, you have a family, safety is a major priority. It has all the safety features you need. It has blind spot monitoring. It has actually rear spot monitoring. So say you're pulling out of a parking spot with the rear of your car. It shows you if there's a car behind you, if there's a person walking, it'll brake and make sure you don't hit that person or car. It also has front monitoring. So if you're about to hit into a car or a child up front, and you're going high speeds, it'll go ahead and press the brakes for you. And we've had that happen before when we were on a road trip. Not because I didn't see the car coming, it's just the car thought that I was going too quick to stop in time, so it decided to apply the brakes. Is it a perfect system? Obviously not. I saw the car coming, I could have stopped in time, but it assumed I would not, so it took its own opinion and decided to stop the car. Besides that, safety ratings on this car are very nice. That's one good thing about driving this car. If you're driving with a family, friends, or whoever you're driving with, safety in this car is very, very nice. They pass safety ratings quite well. I know it's one of the safest compact SUVs on the market, and as well as one of the most luxurious compact SUVs for its price range. It's no BMW or Audi or Mercedes, but it offers some good amenities as gone for before. When we're going to be going onto the highway, I'm going to force someone to talk about the drivability of this car. But while we're on the streets, if you are a street driver, how is this car to drive when you're on the street? Well, this car is quite nice when it comes to driving on the streets. One thing that I have to talk about, and the main thing I'm going to talk about before we even get to the drivability of this car, is the MPG. Of course, gas is expensive. Gas continues to go up in price. It's actually down recently, but gas continues to go up in price. We don't know where gas prices are going to go, but majority of the time, gas prices go up, okay? Because of gas prices going up, you want to have a good car that doesn't spend a lot of, gas, doesn't spend a lot of gas, has a good MPG, and just overall is reliable and nice when it comes to that aspect. Let's go ahead and get into this lane. I know I'm crossing a double line, but it's whatever, it's fine. I also hit my camera on the head. Hopefully that didn't mess up my angle. I don't think so. But, so, when it comes to drivability of this car, when it comes to the miles per gallon, it does eat a lot of gas on the street. Since we're on the street right now, let's talk about it. It eats a lot of gas. Having this car for 2 years and thinking maybe, I'm braking in the car. In the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe the car's in the break-in period. Eats a lot of gas. I'll give it a little bit of time. No. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. This car eats gas. And I understand it's a turbo model. It's a sportier model. If you want, if you want gas efficiency, you go for the regular naturally aspirated engine that only does sub 200 horsepower and I think like a little over 200 torque. If you want a car for miles per gallon, right? If you want better MPG, you go for that. But you're not going to have as much as fun with that car because it's not as peppy because it doesn't have that turbo to go ahead and boost you and give you that speed on the low end, on the top end, and also doesn't sound as good as well. So, yeah. But this car eats a lot of gas. It's rated for 22 miles per gallon in the city. You're not going to get 22 miles per gallon in the city. I'm sorry to admit it to you. If you're driving in traffic like in a city, you're not going to be getting 22 miles per gallon in the city. You're going to be getting 15 miles per gallon in the city, sometimes even 12 depending on how bad the traffic is. If you're standing a lot, you're going to be getting terrible MPG. This car, I don't know what they did to it with the tuning. Maybe it's a 6-speed transmission that it's linked to, and that causes the MPG to be so low. But it's just terrible when it comes to the MPG in the city, all right? Once we get on the highway, well, I'll talk about the highway MPG right now, about while we're going to the highway. But the highway MPG is a lot better. So if you are a highway driver, don't be discouraged from getting this car. The highway MPG is rated at, I think, 25, 26 MPG. And then I get around 27, even 30 MPG if I'm driving very nice and very, I have even, what's it called, the cruise control on, so the car automates its speed. I get around 30 MPG when cruising on a road trip, 27 at the least. So it's a very good car for when it comes to road tripping and driving on the highway. So if you're in a highway state where you take the highway to get to work or on your daily events, this car is good for that. This car is good for highway driving, but city is a no-no. Unless, of course, you know, you just want to have a nice car, a nice peppy car. I guess for the city, it's not too bad if it's worth it for you. If it's the power and everything you get with this car is worth it, then, you know, that's something you're able to give up for the fact of having really bad MPG. But drivability, so as we can see the highway entrance up front with us. But getting onto the highway, getting into this little curvy section, how is the drivability of this car? How does it drive? How does it feel? What are the dynamics of it? Well, actually, I got to slow down a little bit because there's a speed camera, man. Speed cameras are everywhere here. But the drivability of this car, it handles very, very nice. And that's one thing that Mazdas are known for. They're known for their handling, right? They're known for their drivetrain. Well, actually, they're not known for their drivetrain, what I'm saying. They're known for their steering, right? They're known for how well they steer, how well they handle, and just the ability for you to feel like you're in a sports car, like a cheaper sports car. Obviously, not like, we're not talking about like, Mercedes AMG, but, or BMW M3, right? But this is a nice car for its price, right? It handles well, right? It handles well. The steering inputs are very good. I feel what the car is doing. If there, like, say there was a situation once where it was an icy road, I was driving quite fast, I felt the car slipping. Obviously, I knew how, like, I had to respond to the slipping, but you feel the car slipping, you feel the car if it loses traction, you feel the car on every single bump, but not in a bad way, as in the sense of like, oh, it's a bumpy road and it's not a good drive because of the suspension. The suspension is actually quite nice, and we're gonna go ahead and put in sport mode so we could give it a little bit of rev. There's not a lot of cars currently on the highway, so we could give it a little bit of rev, do maybe a 30 to 60 rev or 30 to 70, see how it does. So let's give this car in front a little bit of space right now, and we'll do a real quick rev. Okay. All right, that was 65. So the car drives nice. It has a lot of speed. That wasn't the full pedal being put down, and it drives very, very nice. It has the power. Like I said, that turbo kicks in. You hear that turbo whine. You hear that turbo go. The engine roars. Of course, like I said, it's not a BMW, it's a Mercedes, but for its price class, it does quite well. And the sport mode really kicks in. Of course, I'm getting distracted from where we were going before, but we'll get back to what I was talking before. This engine does amazing when it comes to just the power it gives up, and the transmission that's linked in with it is also very good. It's a 6-speed automatic transmission. Works very, very well. In sport mode, it holds gears well, holds RPMs well, it knows what it's doing. Of course, you have your paddle shifters as well, so you can put it into manual mode and use your paddle shifters and do what you need to do. But there is torque. There's torque. There's power. This car can go. You know what I mean? We just went from 55 to 70. Of course, my pedal wasn't even down fully, but this car knows how to move. It has that power. It has that transmission. The 6-speed transmission clicks into where it needs to be, goes when it needs to go. It's not an 8-speed, not a 10-speed. You don't need to click through the transmissions and waste all that time. It goes. All right? Going back, of course, to what we were talking about. We're talking about the drivability. When it comes to drivability of this car is amazing on curvy roads. You are planted, you feel nice. Of course, for an SUV, it's not a sports car. You're not a sedan. You're not going to be driving super. Let me actually switch it to normal mode so we don't have too much noise coming into the cabin. But you're not driving a sedan. You're not driving a sports car. You're not going to be glued to the road like those cars. But for an SUV, for a compact SUV in its class, it does quite well to stick to the road. It sticks to the road. It does what you need to do. It feels confident on the turns, even at high speeds. It feels confident on the high speeds, even going on a straight line. It's confident inspired driving, right? That's what I love about Mazda. That's what I love about this car. They're just confident inspiring when it comes to the driving aspect, okay? Let's go ahead and switch lanes real quick because this lane's about to end. But in general, like I said, it puts down that power. So for me personally, that MPG being lower than wanted is not a bad thing for me personally, because honestly, it's worth the trade-off. This powertrain is amazing. It gives the power that I need. It has that turbo to kick in. It gives me that 256 horsepower because I only run premium gas because, of course, I want to have that extra power and torque. But that torque kicks in, that power kicks in. It gives you what you need. And, of course, while we're on the highway, why not take a look, listen to another great part about this car, which is the Bose sound speaker. So while we're driving to our next destination, let's go ahead and turn on the Bose sound system so we can take a listen to that. I'll turn it up to what I usually listen to, which is at around 25. It might be a little bit low for the microphone, so I'm gonna put it to 30. That for now, but listening to the sound system, it sounds amazing. The bass is there, everything is nice, and it just listens. It sounds amazing. All right, it sounds amazing for the system, for a price of this car. The Bose sound system sounds great. And if you get a different Mazda model, apparently they're even better, because the new Mazdas and the smaller Mazdas, like the Mazda 3, they sound amazing as well because they have more speakers in their cars. This car does not have as many speakers as those cars have because those are a newer generation revamped car. This car is very old and has been around for a while, so they haven't changed much with the speaker system. But it still sounds great. The bass is there, and you can turn it up if you want to. Whatever you like. If you like that hard bass, you can turn it up as well, and it sounds great there too. Let's go ahead and change over to this lane. It's gonna be a little bit slower, but we're gonna have to get off in the next exit. So, talking more about this car, what can I talk about? The dailability of it. Like I said, I've been driving this for 2 years. I have 1 more year left on it. This is a lease. So I have 1 more year left on it. How does this drive for the 2 years I've been driving it, going on 1 last year, the 3rd year? This car is amazing to own on a daily. I honestly am thinking of maybe getting the newer model. Like I said, the new turbo model, the 2025, 2026 model that's going to be coming out has all the new things like 360 cameras, the sensors, and just in general offers the same car, the same powertrain, the same torque, the same transmission, the same reliability of being made in Japan, in the Japanese factory, while also giving you more amenities. Why would you not take that offer? Same price, but gives you a 360 camera and sensors. Why would you not take it? Let's go ahead and let this Infiniti in. That has, for some reason, M mirrors on it. Very nice. This is the things you see when you're driving in the Northeast. But this car is just amazing for the price. It's great for the price because it offers you, like mentioned before in the main video, it offers you luxury for the price of like a cheaper car. Obviously, $48,000, $44,000 is not cheap compared to other cars that you could get on the market, and of course the cheaper model that you could get of this car. But what it offers for that price is, I believe, better than the competitors. Of course, Honda and Toyotas, they offer their reliability, but Mazda is very reliable as well. For the 2 years I've owned this car, reliability-wise, I've not had any issues. The only issue I had was a technical one with the screen, where the screen would shut off and not turn back on. It would just go black screen and would not turn back on. And the fix for that was just to restart the car, walk away, turn off the car, walk away, come back, and it'll work fine. So maybe that is a little bit finicky, but I only had that happen last year 3 times, and since then I've never had it since then. I know it was in the winter months, so maybe it was something to do with the cold. I don't know, but in general, this car, reliability-wise, is great. It's made in Japan. It's not made in America or Mexico or any other country around this area of the United States. It's made in Japan. It's reliable. It just works well. The engine works well. The transmission works well. No issues. Of course, you know, get your oil changes on time. That's the main part. Get your oil changes on time. Go to the mechanic on time. Go to the dealership on time. You want to do that. That's the main part of reliability. But in general, if you do everything when it's supposed to be done and you take care of this car will give you all you need. It gives you your power, gives you your torque, gives you your safety features, gives you reliability, and just everything you need from a daily. From a daily for, say, a family car, for a small family, or even a daily if you're just yourself as a single or a couple that just needs a car. This car gives you everything you need. If you need a little bit of more space for your pets, if you need a little bit more space for your skis or your snowboards or for your golf clubs, this has everything you need with the luxury that it offers. We're going to be pulling into, oh, this is a long line. We're going to be pulling into our destination soon. We have a couple more, less than a mile to go to it, where we're going to end it off and take a last look at the end. But in general, my opinions on this car, I love owning it. Love owning this car. Offers a lot of things, a lot of amenities, a lot of options that a lot of other car brands don't even have. Even BMWs. You know, you buy a BMW, some of them don't even have cooled seats. Some of them don't even have heated seats. I know those are the standard models, but still, I mean, for a BMW, you would think they would offer that. There's Mercedes don't offer that. There's a lot of car brands that don't offer those amenities, which Mazda does, right? Mazda offers it. Mazda has it. And like I said, being a person who, you know, I'm not always driving sporty, I'm not always driving fast, but say I'm up in the back road somewhere in PA or upstate, say I'm driving in the back road somewhere in the, you know, more hilly, foresty areas, this car handles well for that. This car does what it needs to do. I put it into sport mode when I'm up there, and if I'm doing, you know, if I'm doing hills and I'm doing curves, it does what it needs to do. It handles well, and you can have fun. That's the great part about this car. It's a fun car. It's a safe car. It's a daily car. You want to drive it as a daily, you could drive it as a daily. Keep it in normal mode in the city or wherever you live, going to work, you can keep it in normal mode. You want to put it into sport mode and give it a little bit of gas, have a little bit of fun on the highway, have a little bit of fun on the back roads, you can do that as well. This car offers so many things. It is so many things in itself, and it's just a great car to own. And I don't see why not. I don't see why you wouldn't want to own this car. Of course, Toyota and Honda offer their own cars, but those cars just don't have the power this car has. This car offers something that those cars don't offer, and that's the power. The power that this car offers with that turbocharged engine is just insane. It's really, really good. And honestly, I don't know if I would go into a Toyota or a Honda after owning this car when it comes to their SUV class, because I don't know, this car just doesn't, those cars just don't offer the power and the fun that this car does. That's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and find this spot where we could turn into and end off the video. This is actually the spot where we did the original video in, and this is actually going to be our new recording area because it's actually nice and quiet. So let's go ahead and go into there, give my last opinions on the exterior and the interior, and some last words to end it off. Also, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Whoever is watching, thank you, everybody, for supporting. Who is supporting? We are growing quite small, but of course, we are in a large niche, and because we are in a large niche, it's kind of hard to get started in this niche. But anyways, we're going to continue to upload. We love cars. We love what we do. We love this channel. Even though it's still a new channel, we just like making these videos talking about cars, because why not? You know, who doesn't love cars? If you're a car person, doesn't matter if anybody's watching you or not. It's still fun to drive around in cars. We're gonna have a lot more cars coming up as well, a lot of more reviews coming up as well, and we're gonna be going over all these things. So I'm gonna park a little bit like an asshole in the middle of the parking lot. But let's go ahead and take a last look at the exterior. That has been the Mazda CX-5. Great car, honestly, to own, great car to have, and it's just a beautiful car on the interior, on the exterior. Let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior for the last time. Let's actually go and turn on the lights so you guys could see the halo, or just the lights in general. But yeah, exterior of the car looks great. We can see that the lights are on. You can see the halos that are on. You probably don't see them that well in the daytime, but when we do the night POV video, which is going to be coming up after this, you guys will be able to see how this car looks at night. Beautiful car, nice handling, sounds great, looks great, handles great, everything you need in a daily, everything you need in a family car. If you want to have a little bit of fun on the back roads, you can have fun on the back roads. If you want to have fun doing what you do, going to work, you can do that as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. That has been me, Dennis from Gassed Up, and I'll see you guys in the next video for the night POV of driving this car. See you guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys like, subscribe. I will see you guys next video.